Hello guys, and welcome to this first tips and tricks video on Jagged Alliance 3. I just recently got the game and I figured out a few things while starting the game. So first of all, tip number one is if you go to the IMP web, you can make your own personal avatar. And you can do that by doing the questionnaire and you will get a character based on your answers. Or you can make your own character by skipping the PET and build your own character using the sliders. And this can be very helpful if you want to fill the gaps in your mercenary group, because you get to choose one of his major perks as well, making your own character from scratch. The advantage of making your own character is that although he will cost you 7,000 for starters, he has no upkeep. So unlike the other mercenaries where you have to pay every 7 or 14 days, you can get this one and he will stay with you forever because it's basically you. I advise you to make your own character. Tip number 2. If you look at the mercenaries, they have different specialities. There's a medic, there's a mechanic, there's an all-rounder, there's of course a marksman, and there is a explosive training dude. Now the medic obviously have a high medical skill, and it's imperative that you have 2 people with a high medical skill, because once you start the game, if your medic gets wounded, she cannot heal herself. So basically when you're in the base or when you're in between missions and you want to remove her wounds, you need another medical person with at least 50 in medical skill. If you only have one, you risk not being able to heal her or him if she gets wounded. So you need 2. Of course, one of them can be your own guy, because you said that. You use your own guy as a medic as well, of course, if you want to do that. So tip number 2, get at least 2 people with medical 50 plus. Tip number 3, when you hire a character, you have to pay 5,000 for this particular performance. She costs 5,000 for 7 days, and you have to pay 1,120 as a medical insurance. You'll get some of these money back if she's not wounded once she leaves you, but if she's wounded, you will lose some of these money. However, 7 days is 5,000, but if you take her for 14 days, it's only 6,300. So hiring them for 14 days is actually a lot cheaper, and the medical expense is the same. Also, if you hire them for 14 days, you have far more time to actually get her to heal up before she leaves you, if she leaves you. Of course, you can renegotiate her contract and keep her for longer if you want to. I found that having them for at least 14 days is the best way to go. Tip number 4 is get an explosives guy. Basically, if you want to throw grenades, you need a high explosive. The higher the explosive means you have less chance of having a mishap while throwing grenades. Of course, if he has the breach and clear, you can throw a grenade or make a shotgun attack and then move, which is very nice as well. However, if you take a guy like Bobby Steroid Gotarski, he only has explosive 13, and that means he will have a very, very high chance of having a mishap, basically throwing it in a totally random direction. Now I found that having grenades in the beginning, and you do find some during the start of the game, is very nice, because they easily take out a lot of enemies and you get less wounds. So tip number 4 is get an explosives guy. You need one of those. Not to mention that explosive also helps you detect and disarm explosive traps, and that is very nice as well. If you disarm mines, for instance, you will get some scrap and you can use that to boost your characters. I suggest getting at least 1 guy with a very high explosives, or of course you can make your own guy, the explosive guy, if you so desire. There's absolutely no doubt that having 2 guys with high explosive makes the beginning of the game a lot easier, but you won't always be able to find 2. So one thing you could do was make your own guy at least able to throw grenades to some extent. And tip number 6, of course, you need 1 guy with fairly decent mechanical as well, because there's a lot of stuff you have to open and hack and lockpick, and there's electronic devices, and of course it's used for detecting and disarming non-explosive traps. But there is a lot of cash registers and stuff you want to open up to get some extra money in the beginning, so I suggest getting at least one guy with high mechanical as well. For a bonus tip, well, basically when you're in the tactical view and you're looking at the screen, it can be hard to find stuff, doors or stuff you can loot, or herbs you can pick and stuff like that. But if you press the Alt key once, everything you can interact with will be highlighted by a small icon depending on what kind of item it is. For instance, you can see here is the door. If I press Alt, the door is gone. Of course, I can't see it if I change the camera position, but this goes for loot boxes, mines, traps you have spotted, and stuff like that. So get used to having your Alt key pressed when you find stuff.
I should be working
to
out.
not miss any stuff on the map. As you can see here, I found some herbs. If I press the Alt key, it lights up, and there's a hand-pick item. So using the Alt key will make sure that you don't miss anything on the map. Do pick up all the herbs you find, because those will give you meds to actually heal your dudes. Check out the map before you leave it for nice stuff you need. That will make the game easier in the long run. Be aware that you need all the herbs you can get, because getting wounded is really easy, and especially in the beginning, and you need the herb to heal you guys. In any case, this is all the tips for this first Jagged Alliance 3 video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up, or maybe even subscribe, and hopefully I will see you later for more Jagged Alliance. Rats are out.